Last video I explained how discs have a significant mechanism for self-repair. I also explained that the disc itself doesn't get water, nutrients, or oxygen. It has to rely on its own movement or its own ability to move in order to create a pump mechanism to get what is needed within the disc from the vertebra above or the one below. Okay? So let's pretend that this is a healthy disc. It's moving and it's pumping, and you're moving, you're exercising, you're turning, you're twisting, you're bending, you're driving. Basically, you're living life. Okay? The problem is that as we age, this disc becomes a little more like this, where it starts to lose the water. So even if I soak this in a jar of water or a container of water, it's only going to inflate so much versus the original disc. So the first thing I want to show you is healthy disc. Okay, healthy disc has a good amount of space, creating good amount of space not only for itself to be able to move and function, but what's important is the amount of space that's needed for the nerve to be able to free flow without being pinched or impinged. Because when the nerve is pinched, that's when you start to get tingling, numbness, burning pain. The next stage, or let's back up a second, this would be a nice healthy fat disc, just like here. As I mentioned in the last video, there's a tendency that as we age, we start to lose water, just like hormone levels drop. And so what happens is we go from a healthy fat disc to a thinner disc. And these are the things that we see on MRIs. So that's why it's important when you come in to bring your MRI so we can evaluate exactly where you are. The disc starts to lose, and so just like here, instead of being nice, thick, and fat, with lots of room for the nerves to free flow, what happens is the discs start to lose height. They don't retain water as much, and they become a little more brittle. And this is seen right through here. And so what can happen is you can get either a bulging disc or a herniated disc as a result of that, as the disc thin. The other thing that we see is that the space between where the nerve comes out becomes smaller, so it starts to impinge. Now the next stage that we have is when the disc goes from this to this thin. This is called degenerative disc disease. And it's very often seen on MRI, on X-ray, as extra pieces of bone. And what's happening is that the bones are actually starting to fuse because that disc, that pump, and that mechanism and that cushion no longer are effective. So as the disc pump breaks down further, it doesn't have water. It starts to become more and more dehydrated. You start to lose height, not only in the disc, but most people say, you know what, I've gotten shorter as I've gotten older. Now, what I can tell you is that most people, when they go through our protocol, can gain between 1 to 3 inches back in their height. Okay? That can only happen if these discs start to recreate that pump mechanism, reabsorb water, oxygen, and nutrients, and start to heal. Now, in the last video, we mentioned, can the disc heal 100%? What I'm going to tell you is probably not, but even if they got 50 or 60 or 70% improved, think about the difference in height. Can you imagine reversing this closer to this, which then separates the vertebrae, taking pressure off the nerve? All that tingling, that numbness, that burning sensation start to disappear. And if you go even further, can you imagine taking this even closer to being here at 80%, 90%? Now, the reason I can say that is we've seen it in our offices. Many celebrities and pro athletes come in, and we've kind of become their secret type of approach to get them back on track, to get them not only out of pain, but to help heal their discs to as close as normal as possible, and being able to get back on the field and have a longer career. Now that's the athletes, but we treat an awful lot of people that are not athletes that come in, and the average success rate is anywhere between 86 to 95%. So if you've been suffering needlessly and you've only been told you need surgery, or keep taking shots and medication and you're tired of that, there's another way. Call my office. If you're out of state, I may be able to find you someone that has very similar techniques and approach and help you as well. So don't hesitate to ask any questions. Send them in. We'll shoot a quick video answering your question. And if we can help you, we'd love to be able to do that as well.
Disc Centers of America, a call to us can change your life.